Like, you have limitless potential. You have a power within yourself you've yet to realize. It's waiting for you, and it's waiting on the other side of your excuses.
You're listening to Turn Your Soul On Radio. I am your host and visionary doctor, Dr. Brandy Victory, and my mission is to assist high-achieving women in closing the gap between feeling unfulfilled to living a life on fire. It is time, ladies, to champion our own lives and turn ourselves on. This is Living Victoriously, ladies. This is how you turn your soul on.
Hello, you beautiful creatures. I am so grateful that you're here today. And today we're going to just throw it down around creating your personal revolution. We're going to chat about changing your destiny. Like, you have so much power within you and you don't even know. You have so much power that's unaccessed, and you have the ability to tap it. And I'm going to give you some tools today that are going to help you just tap right into that. Before we get going with the show, I just want to thank you for sharing this with all the people you know. If you have some women in your life, actually, even if you don't have women in your life, share it with a man. If you know someone in your life who has, has this desire to live a better life and maybe feel stuck somewhere along the way and can't seem to change or can't seem to bring themselves to do whatever it takes to make that change happen for themselves, and they feel like maybe they're giving up on themselves in some way, that this would be the perfect podcast to share with that person. So go ahead and just stop for a second and hit pause and share in this little message with your friends. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the more you share, the more the show grows. And the more the show grows, the more people can wake up to their truth, the truth of their power, the truth of our ability to make massive change on this planet. I also want to thank our sponsors, Purium Superfood. And Purium Superfood is the sponsor of the 10-day transformation program that I've been talking about because it's just so freaking amazing. I'm feeling fantastic, ladies. Like, I can't tell you how good I'm feeling. I wish I could, and I can't. So that is why I created the 10-day group transformation for women. Sorry, guys, but this is a women's only event. It's a 10-day group transformation program. And yes, it's only 10 days of your life to really change yourself on a deep cellular level, on a deep consciousness level. Like, life is so freaking awesome because I did this 10-day cleanse. It's awesome every single time. But I just, had this experience recently, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to share this with as many women as I can because we all deserve to feel this freaking good. All right. So if you're interested in learning more about that 10-day transformation program, I am starting that group June 2nd, and registration ends May 22nd. So go ahead and go on over to my website, drbrandyvictory.com/10-day. That's 10-day, 10-day, and check it out and get yourself registered. And let's do this together because I am here to support you, mama. All right. So let's get on with our show and chat a little bit about creating a personal revolution for you. All right. So, what brought this to my attention, and I was like, okay, I got to really talk about this because I've been seeing this pattern arise. And basically what happens is, someone starts care. And this may, maybe it's you started a coaching program, or maybe you started a new exercise routine, or maybe you started a new diet. Maybe you went keto. Maybe you have something you're starting, or you've started multiple times. I know before I really got a hold of my weight and my health, I'd done every single program known to man at the time. Okay. I haven't really done anything in the last couple of years because I haven't had to, because I understand my physiology and how to work it with it. But when you don't, you're just out there trying everything. And if your consciousness isn't in the right place, then it doesn't matter what you try, it's not going to work. Or it's going to work a little bit and then you're going to gain all your weight back. Or you're going to feel a little better and then you're going to feel bad again. Or you're going to get, the pain's going to go away and then you're going to get pain again. Or whatever it is, it seems to not last. And there's a reason for that. Okay. And what happens, like I had a patient, I'll just speak to this one. I'm going to call her Vicky. So Vicky comes in, and I've been working with her for about 6 months. She's lost like 26 pounds or something like that. She's lost a lot of weight. Like, she's looking freaking awesome. And she has a ways to go. Like, she wants to continue losing weight, but she's kind of getting that place where she's plateauing. Her weight loss is kind of plateaued. It's just not really losing weight. Now, I will tell you, we still need to do a bioimpedance. So this is a very specialized test that I do with my patients where I put electrodes on the body and run a current through it, and I look at the physiology. So I can actually see, is the weight she lost fat? Is it muscle? Is it water? Is her cellular nutrient uptake improving? Is she in absorbing her nutrients better now or not? Is her cellular vitality improving or not, right? These are things that I really like to look at that I haven't had a chance to see in her yet, but I definitely will be doing that with her because we need to know, like, what's the deal, right? But I already know what's the deal. Here's the deal, okay? So what happens is someone comes in and they start care. And if you're a practitioner, this is a really great conversation. Okay. So listen up, because I've seen this over and over and over again. So patient comes in, they're like, yes, I want my life to change. I want to lose weight, or I want to, have my digestion be improved or balance my hormones, whatever the story is. Right. And so then they start doing the work. They change their diet. They start an exercise routine. They're coming in and getting care. They're getting the treatments, or, if they're long distance, we're doing energetic clearing work and shamanistic healing work and those kinds of things, right? And so for the first little bit, things are changing pretty rapidly. They're like, woohoo, things are changing. But what happens is they're on a subconscious level, we like our 72 degree weather, and we like it to stay 72, and we don't want it to go up, and we don't want it to go down, right? So if you go over and you open the window and it starts to get cold, you're gonna go close it without even thinking about it. And the subconscious works the same way when it comes to our own well-being and our own healing process. So the patterns that we've had, and the sickness that we've had, and the weight that we've had, and all the stuff that we've had on some level is very comfortable. So it feels okay to be there because well, I'm not dying, right? So, my survival's not threatened here. But when you start changing the thermostat, or start opening the windows, or you start doing the clearing work, and you start moving that subconscious bullshit out, then what happens is the ego goes, oh no, it needs to be 72. Oh no, I need to get back to status quo because it's safe. And so the ego, in its slyest ways, will come in and start to sabotage everything that you've been doing. All right. So, so Vicky comes in and she's like, yeah, I just feel like everything's kind of stalled out. I'm like, yeah, right. I get that, so have you been doing the work? Yeah, I've been doing everything. I've been eating right. I've been exercising. She worked with a nutritionist that I send my patients to. So she's very clear about what she should be eating every day. And she has these great recipes that have been made for her and all this stuff. And so, then I ask her, well, what about the meditations and the breath work and the tools that I've given you? And she's like, well, I have been doing the breath work, but I haven't been doing the meditation. I'm like, okay, that's fair. But what we got to realize is that there's a lot of power in the meditation. All right. And I know I talk about meditation a lot, and I'm totally can understand if you have resistance to meditation, because I've had resistance to meditation many times in my life. And what I know is when I do it, it works. When I do it, it works every single time. And I actually will not, have any women in my programs unless they're meditating. That's just the way it is. So, the work won't happen unless you're willing to give it 100%. And the 100% means that I'm going to sit, and I'm going to meditate, and I'm going to do my breath work, and I'm going to do my yoga, and I'm going to do my mudras, or whatever it is I give you. I'm going to do my essential oils, and I'm going to do my crystals and all the stuff, right? All the tools that we work with on a day-to-day basis. And so, I offered for her. I was like, let me do a reading for you. And so, I sat with her and did a reading. And what came of that is we did a past life reading, and then I read her chakras, and then we did a clearing. But what happened was the essence of everything was that she has this pattern where she feels like she's good. It's not great. It's good, though. It's good. Like, life is good. And to mess with that would be like putting a gun to your head. Because what's on the other side of it? If this is good and you start messing with it, what's going to happen then, right? Like, it could go a lot of different directions. And if there's not a foundational belief that your life can be better, then the foundational belief is likely, oh shit, this could be really fucking bad. And so you don't want to let go of that paradigm that you're living in, because it's good. It's not great, but it's good, right? And so what happens is you do all the things like, okay, well, I'm eating right and I'm exercising and I'm doing the sessions and I'm doing the coaching and I'm doing the nutrition and I'm doing the breath. I mean, come on, what else is there? But then what happens is your ego starts to come to the rescue. And he says, oh my gosh, no, you can't be pushing these buttons like this, right? Because when we start doing this kind of work, when we start working with your consciousness, it challenges your beliefs. It asks you to change, to make a difference in your life. And that difference can cause your ego to begin to make up stories about why you shouldn't continue care. And those stories can range from everything from, no, you know what? I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I've gotten everything out of it I need. Whatever the storyline is, that's your bullshit coming up to sabotage your growth. All right. So you got to be so conscious about and vigilant about paying attention to these storylines that come up and why you may or may not be like stopping a process that you're doing. All right. So healing's not a linear direction. It doesn't just go up. I wish it did. I wish I could just tell my patients, okay, you're just going to start feeling better and that'll all be all there is to it, but it doesn't do that. And it generally goes up. But in that process, there's ups and downs. Like, I've gone through numerous moments in my life where I've perceived my condition as like bad, or I've thought I was a failure, or I thought I was like a hypocrite. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm teaching people about weight loss and I can't lose my own weight. Like, that was an old story of mine. And I questioned my validity, right? Yet somewhere deeper, there's a knowing that this is me breaking through another layer. This is me pushing through and allowing the letting go of the past paradigm so that I can reach a new level of consciousness, so that it can reach that great and my life can be what it is, like the best it can be, right? Like, there's many tears of grief during this process. At least for me, I'm a very emotional person. And when I had a reading last week, actually, and the reader was like, yeah, you have very feminine emotions. And you also have a masculine that supports you very well, which is great. And that is true. I can go into my masculine and I lose touch with my feminine. But then when I get back into my feminine, I'm like, wow. I get all these feminine emotions and it kind of gets kind of crazy. So I'm pretty lucky to have a man in my life who can handle my crazy, right? But, the deal is he understands that my crazy is my process. My crazy is me moving through shit so that I can be better. And that's the difference, right? So we can either stay stuck in our crazy and go, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, and keep coming back to crazy. Or we can use our crazy to facilitate our growth, to facilitate a human revolution and change your destiny. That is how you do it, okay? So if you want to step into some newness, I have a feeling you've been calling it in or you wouldn't be listening to this right now. I want you to tell me, or at least consider. I wish you could tell me. Obviously, we would be doing this in a workshop together or a retreat. I'd be taking you through these processes. The processes that I'm offering you right now are processes that I am offering in my women's group coaching program. So if you're really jiving on this kind of stuff, then you might want to consider applying for that. And I'm so excited to start telling you about that. So that'll come soon, all right? So keep your ears open. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to just create a vision. And we talked about this on the last podcast, actually, about creating a vision of what you want. And this is more like, what if my life could be amazing? What if I had a magic wand and I could wave it? And when I waved it, I could change, shift, or improve some aspect of my life. What would it be? And if I did that, what would it look like? What would it feel like? What would it sound like? What would it smell like? What would it taste like? What kind of activities would I be doing? What kind of relationship would I have? What kind of mother would I be? What kind of leader would I be? What kind of practitioner would I be? How would my patients adore me? How would my patients get well? How would everyone's growth in my life be enhanced by my presence? And then when you get really clear on that, I want you to consider, what will it take? What will it take to actually facilitate that vision? So what will it take for me to have 8 women, because that's the max, 8 women in my women's group coaching program? Well, it's going to take, first of all, me getting all the parts together. It's kind of pieced out right now, and I'm about to congeal all of that into the fullness of what it's going to be. But I've got to do that, right? If I'm going to have women join a group coaching program, then that's what it's going to be. I got to put it together. If I'm going to have women join a group coaching program, I've got to tell people about it, right? I got to market it. I got to talk about it. I got to share it with women. I got to interview women. I'm going to have to interview women because it's not the right fit for everyone. And I certainly do not want a woman in there and it's not a good fit. So I've got to do that, right? And so, and then I got to create the timeline for it. What dates are we going to start? And are we going to meet in person? Because my hope and my intention right now, it just depends on if I go with an 8-week or a 4-month group plan. I haven't decided that yet. But my intention is to have, if it's a longer program, is that we're going to have a retreat together midway through so that we can all get together in person and have this tribe working, supporting each other through the process. So that would be just the most divine way of my offering to show up in this moment. So I'm looking forward to that, right? But that's what it's going to take. And then so the third question is, what pitfalls do you foresee getting in your way? So for me, the pitfalls that could get in my way, that would be not taking the time to write out my program, which I'm going to do. I mean, I've already set that up. But if I didn't have my girlfriend saying, hey, let's go to the hot springs for your birthday, for my birthday, not my birthday, but her birthday, then I would have to actually schedule time on my calendar to go into nature or go down by the creek and just write that shit out, right? So scheduling time, determining the outline of the marketing and how I want to go about that, making flyers, writing up a web page, and all this stuff, right? Those are the things I have to do. And the pitfalls are not making time to do that stuff, right? Just not stepping into it, not actually doing any Facebook Lives or YouTube videos on what's going to be offered. And so when you get clear about what your pitfalls are, the next question is, what can you do to sidestep those pitfalls? So for me, I have coaches. I have multiple coaches. I have a business coach. I have a leadership development coach. And those coaches are my saviors. They are angels in my life, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have any accountability, and I know myself, man, I'm not going to get it done. I'm not going to get it done if someone's not holding me accountable. I got to have accountability for everything in my life. So I hired a coach, right? And then I pay money to do that, because when my investment to that coach is an investment into myself and my business. So I pay money to do that, and it feels so good and so inspiring. And I also really believe in my coaches. So I listen to what they say and I do what they say. So the next thing you're going to do is I want you to determine the success markers along the way. Okay. So you're going to determine, okay, for me, for my creating this online group coaching program, it's, my success markers are number one, creating the program, right? Putting it all together. And then, that's something to celebrate. Once I get that done, which will be this weekend, I'm so excited. Once I get that done, I'm like, woohoo, I'm going to celebrate that, right? I'm going to high five with all my girlfriends at the hot springs, and we're going to like be just jazzed about that. Cause my girlfriends just are so supportive. They're so loving, and they're so happy when we all make progress and we're all growing together, and we all have different avenues of life that we're taking. But, my friends are just high vibrational beings, and there's nothing better than being around high vibrational beings to support you through your growth, right? So you're going to look at those markers along the way. I'm going to like schedule out my marketing strategy. I'm going to write out my YouTube videos and my Facebook Live, scripts, if you will, or my bullet points and then I'm going to do them, right? And along the way, I'm going to celebrate, hey, I got this done. I got this done. And then I'm going to tell my coach, hey, I got this done. I got this done. So now I have accountability, right? So you're looking at those markers along the way, and then you're going to celebrate those as you go. And then after that, you're going to tap in, or not after that, but during this whole process, what you want to do is you want to tap daily into your vision, so that you're remembering where you're going. So I can't not think about my vision of creating this program. It's been in my mind, and I've got the chunks down. And this has been an ongoing process for me for some time, because it's something I've been wanting to offer. And now it's kind of like coming to a head. It's coming to fruition. And it's because I've been tapping into it every day. I just can't not think about it, right? So this is the part where make sure whatever you're doing is exciting to you. So if this is like, oh, well, my revolution would look like me losing 10 pounds and having more energy. Oh, okay, great. Is that exciting to you? Meh. Right? So how can you make it exciting for yourself? If you want to lose 10 pounds and have more energy, that might feel good, but if you're not excited about it, you're not going to get it done. It's just not going to happen. So what would excite you? That you can maybe change that up and have it be something exciting. So maybe it's, I want to feel sexier in my body and, have more energy. What would be a good one? I'm trying to think. So I want to feel sexier and more alive in my body. Ooh, I like that. I want to feel sexier and more alive. Now that's kind of juicy. Does that juice you up? Does that excite you? Does that feel yummy? Yeah, maybe. And then there's going to be these consciousness blocks that come up. As soon as I say that, you've probably already heard them go off in your head. Like, yeah, but, and I want you to let those go, because if you want something, you can. But this goes back to what we talked about in the last podcast. When you start to make these kind of changes, you're messing with the thermostat. You're messing with the comfort zone. So, in order to make the changes, it's got to be really freaking exciting so that you actually don't care if you freaking disturb your ego, right? If your ego starts to go, wah, 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 and you're like, screw you, what the fuck ever, right? I'm doing this no matter what, because it feels good and I want to feel sexy, and I already do feel sexy, right? And so, holding on to that vision and feeling into the vision and knowing what it will take, right? If you want to feel sexier and more alive, what's it going to take? Okay, maybe that's where losing the 10 pounds comes in. However, I want to invite you to consider that you can feel sexy without losing any weight. Like, sexy is a choice, all right? Just like happiness is a choice, sexy is a choice. Owning your body, having more self-confidence, like everything that you are is beautiful and perfect, just like it is. And if you don't believe that, we got work to do. You need to call me. We need to work through that shit, right? Because you do not deserve to put yourself down because you're not a certain quote unquote weight. All right. It doesn't make sense at all. All right. It's not fair. It's not fair to yourself. It's not fair to your children. It's not fair for the people that you're leading. All right. And so maybe to feel sexier and more alive, you get in touch with nature. Like, this one might take a minute. Like, what will it take? What will it really take? And this is going to, sorry about that. This is could take, days or weeks. It could take a month for you to get clear about this stuff, but it's just a daily practice. It's like, okay, what's it going to take? What's my vision? What's it going to take? What's my vision? What's it going to take? What's my vision? What am I willing to do today? What pitfalls do I foresee? Oh, I'm going to get emotional and I'm going to go back into a bad eating pattern, and then I'm not going to feel sexy. I'll feel guilty. Okay, great. So can we find different foods to eat? Can we have healthier choices around the house so you're not eating Oreos and bonbons? Can you feel good about the choices that you're making? Can you give gratitude for the food that you're eating so that whenever you eat, you've set an intention of grace to enter into the process of eating and digestion and nourishment, right? So looking for those pitfalls and then figuring out how you're going to sidestep those and then determine the success markers along the way. Maybe it's putting on a piece of lingerie and doing a little dance for your partner. Or maybe it's satisfying yourself through some masturbation. Like, if you're not doing that, girls, go for it, man. Don't waste your time here. You got to be getting yourself off. You got to turn yourself on, like whatever it's going to take to turn yourself on, right? As a matter of fact, if you need some help with that, you can go to my homepage, drbrandyvictory.com, and I've got a guide. It's the Turn Yourself On guide, and it's a fun little process that you can take yourself through. Something similar to what we're doing here, of course, and it's a little workbook. So have fun with that. And then tap into that vision daily. What does it feel like today to feel sexy and alive? Like, if you set yourself up in the morning to feel sexy and alive, guess what? You're going to feel sexy and alive. Ha, ha, ha. And you don't even have to lose weight or change your hairstyle or put makeup on or anything like that. Okay. All right. So, the last thing I just want to say is just keep going. Whatever you're doing, keep going. I was a little bit upset. I mean, this has been, I don't know, a few weeks ago or a month ago or something. And I was like, man, what's the deal? Why can't I keep moving? Like, okay, yeah, this was about a month ago. And I was like, why is my life not changing? Because I want things now. And the person I was talking to was like, yeah, well, your life is changing. You just can't see it. And so the primary message that came through, this was a spiritual guide, and the primary message that came through was just keep going. Because if you just quit, you're never going to get there, right? If you give up on yourself, you're never going to get there. So just keep going. Whatever it is, keep going. And make sure you're turned on. Make sure you're excited. Make sure you're like filled up with joy about this evolution that you're creating for yourself, so that it facilitates its own vortex of creation, all right? Like, you have limitless potential. You have a power within yourself you've yet to realize. It's waiting for you. And it's waiting on the other side of your excuses. It's waiting on the other side of your limiting beliefs. It's waiting on the other side of your blame. And now is the time to let it all go. Now is the time to allow yourself the freedom, the joy, the sexiness, the abundance, and the love that you deserve. Now is your time. Do not give up on yourself. Step into it right now. Don't let your ego circumvent your evolution. Don't let your ego limit your growth. Do whatever it takes. And one of the things you could do is join me on the 10-day transformation program. All right, let's do this, girls. Let's do this. Like, it's only 10 days. Like, really? It's the quickest way to jumpstart your freaking life. All right. So I'm just thrilled to be able to offer this for you. And I would love it if you joined me on this adventure. So until then, do whatever it takes to turn your soul on. Thank you for tuning in to Turn Your Soul On Radio. If you're finding yourself living a more inspired life because of this show, help spread the light. Share this episode with every woman you know looking to live their lives a little more on fire. I'd also be grateful if you headed over to iTunes and left a heartfelt review, which really helps the growth of the show. I'd also like to invite you to deepen your connection with our community by joining our private Facebook group, Turn Your Soul On. And if you have any other questions, feel free to shoot us an email at admin@drbrandyvictory.com. Thanks so much for being here today, and I'll talk to you next time. May your soul be turned on.
This podcast is for information purposes only. Dr. Brandy Victory is not a medical doctor, and the views and statements expressed on this podcast are not medical advice. This podcast, including Dr. Brandy Victory and the producers, disclaim responsibility from any possible adverse effects from the use of information contained herein. Opinions of guests are their own, and this podcast does not endorse or accept responsibility for statements made by guests. This podcast does not make any representations or warranties about guest qualifications or credibility. This podcast may contain paid endorsements and advertisements for products or services. Individuals on this podcast may have a direct or indirect financial interest in products or services referred to herein. If you think you have a medical problem, consult a licensed physician.